Welcome to the second lecture on advanced exam. In this class, we will continue with the use of function, especially the function if, and we said with the function if, this is where you also introduce the aspect of logic. We also have a data set, and we're using the data set master's data. You can find this data set in the folder download training materials, and this folder is somewhere in your desktop. In this session, I will also be introducing the use of macros as we try and see if you're in an environment whereby you are either supposed to come up with reports, and this report is meant to facilitate payment, and like I said, payment for some employees who are doing some sales kind of work. So let's understand first macros, because we said you might be in an office and the nature of your work is more repetitive in nature. So every month, for instance, you are supposed to pay these people their bonuses together with their net pay. And I don't want to be doing the same job over and over. So what I can do is just record a macros, and every time a new dataset comes in, instead of spending 2 hours doing the same work, I can just execute the macros. So just go to Developer tab, and then record the macros, and these macros I will name it as sales agent payment. You can create a shortcut if you want to. For me, I don't. But I'd rather discuss on the different ways of saving your macro. So you can either save your macro at the personal macro workbook, you can save in a new workbook, or this workbook. So let's understand what all those three mean. The first one, when you say you save in this workbook, then means the macros you will have, the one you name as self-agent payments, will only work with this workbook. If you say in a new workbook, that means the new workbook that will be open after you close this workbook, that is the only workbook that you can apply these macros. But for now, we will save at the personal macro workbook, which basically means we want this macro to be applied in any workbook that we will get. I'll select personal macro workbook. Of course, you can have a lot of macros with you, depending on what you want to achieve. And therefore, you can be describing or provide more information so that you will know what macro was doing what job for you. I will click OK. And it says the syntax of this name is incorrect. This is the same issue even when you are learning other softwares like SPSS. When you're creating a variable name, you can't be having spaces. So when you say self-agent payment, you can't be having spaces and you're creating a variable name. So I can use an underscore, or you can combine as one word. And now if I say OK, I'm good to go. So I've created a macro called self-agent payment. And as you can see up here, it says stop recording. This reminds me that whatever I'm doing from now moving forward, it is being recorded. So let's talk about bonus. Assuming the job was to calculate bonus for these employees. And the instruction says the bonus of an employee is 5% of whatever they were able to sell within that period of time. So only individuals who were able to achieve their target are the ones who are supposed to be paid. Otherwise, you're not going to receive any bonus. So how will you capture that here? So I will still use the if function, and I'll say equal sign if. The logic test will be if your sales is greater than a target. Comma. What should happen? The person should receive 5% of whatever they were able to sell. Comma. Value false. What if you're not achieving that? Then you should receive nothing. I'll have 0. I will press enter, and Duncan is not receiving any bonus, and I'm sure right now you understand why. If you autofill, you'll obtain results for all the employees, and of course you want your report to be in a different worksheet. So I'm going to open a new worksheet, and I'll name this worksheet as a report. And a report, you can have month or quarter, or you can say time or duration. And I'll have information on bonus, I want information on net pay. I want to know employees to be retained. Just have them as retained. That should be enough. So what I want is, I want to transfer the total. So for instance, if the total bonus for a certain period of time, let's say within a month of January, I'll go to my report and I'll write here January. What was the total bonus? I will start with equal sign, sum, and then I want sum of what? Sum of all the bonus. So I will select the items and the bonus. And if I press enter, the total amount of bonus that I was supposed to pay these guys in the month of January is, as you can see. We'll be doing the same for net pay and also for employees who are supposed to be retained. Let's talk about net pay. They're supposed to be paid their net pay, and the net pay is whatever they were receiving as bonus plus 10% of what they were able to sell that month. But not all employees are receiving net pay. Instead, the condition says only if you are receiving bonus, that is when you will get net pay. So how will I achieve that? I'll still use the if function. I'll say if the logic test is your bonus is something greater than 0. That means at least you are receiving something as bonus. Comma, value is true, then you will receive whatever your bonus was plus 10% of what you are able to sell. Comma, if you're not receiving that, then you receive 0. I will autofill. And now I want the same total. Okay, I already had some total somewhere here. So I want the total to come to the report. So total net pay, I will say equal sum. Then sum of what? All the details in the net pay. Let's go to comment section.